welcome to NAPOD, where we provide NA speaker meetings and workshops in a podcast. We are an ad-free podcast, and if you enjoy listening, please help us to be self-supporting by visiting napod.xyz, look for the donate link, and drop $1 or $2 in the virtual basket. If you're also in AA or have friends that are, please tell them about our other podcast, Sobercast. Sobercast features AA speakers and workshops in the same format as NAPOD. We upload a new speaker every day, and it's easy to subscribe by searching for Sobercast, that's 2 words, on any podcast player app, or go to Sobercast.com. Enjoy the podcast, and thanks for listening.
I am an addict, and my name's Kathleen. Hi, everybody. I remember when I first came to Narcotics Anonymous and I heard a woman up front going, "Hello, family," and I said, "Oh my God, never. Never." Anyhow, I'm really grateful to see all of my family here this morning. You are my family, and that I do know. Sex and food are good. God is great. God is great. I have an awesome, awesome God. God, the God of my understanding, was so brilliant that he knew that this ass needed to be sitting in one of those chairs way before I ever knew it. I live in Maricopa, Arizona right now. My recovery started in the South Shore area in Massachusetts. I had lived there for over 55 years. When I was 9 years old, I was drying dishes. My mom was washing dishes. And all of a sudden, I looked across the room, and there stood my grandfather, who, by the way, was dead. And I dropped the plate on the floor, and my mom took her hands out of the sink and said, "Kathleen, what's wrong?" And I said, "Grampy's getting a dish towel to help me to dry the dishes." And my mother embraced me and she said, "God gives each and every one of us that ability. It's your decision what you want to do with it." Thus, my email is called A Soul Experience. That was the first of many that I have had. I came to Narcotics Anonymous in a little bit different route than what I've heard this weekend, though I'm going to tell you this has been one of the most powerful conventions that I've ever been at. Wherever I sat, wherever the speaker spoke, they knew who I was. They said everything that I needed to hear. And I thought after a while, I said to my sister Joyce, I said, "I just have to tell you something. If I didn't have skin, I'd be a puddle, because I've done nothing but cry all weekend. I mean, sob from the deepest, deepest parts of my soul. That I thought at 24 years clean I had already gone down there and done that kind of work. And I know today that I haven't, and that I still have a lot more to do. And what I know is that the God of my understanding gave me tears for a purpose. And my sponsor once told me it was so that the ice that had formed around my heart in all the years that I was in active addiction would be able to melt, and I would be able to see the woman that I am today that God sent to the face of this earth. Thus, I believe it. Sponsorship is the heartbeat of Narcotics Anonymous, the absolute heartbeat. When I first came in and I heard all these like 3-letter things, like GSR, alternate GSR, and RSC and WHO and all that. Only few things I ever knew was like FU. I didn't know anything much about that before I got here. So, I'm sitting in my world in beautiful Middleborough, Massachusetts, just sitting there, just thinking, this isn't really a bad life, this is pretty good. And in came my husband, who had been out with my nephew, and he had the biggest smile on his face I ever saw in my life. And I looked at him and I thought, wow, he looks like he was looking like that light right there. I'm like, wow. I go, where you been? He said, I went to a meeting. He said, it was the most powerful thing. You're never going to believe it. It's called Narcotics Anonymous, and we're going to go there. And I said, we? He said, yes. And then I looked at his face one more time, and I said, you're right. I'm going to go there because there is not a man on the face of the earth that stands in front of me with that look on his face because he went to a 12-step program. Oh, no, I knew what he was up to. I knew. And I was planning. The next meeting, he was going to get the beat out of him, and then I was going to find out who her was, and she was going to get hurt also. And I stand today to tell you that 24 years later, thank you, through the grace of God, through the women that have loved me, through the men who have never wanted to do anything else but help me. Because when I came here to Narcotics Anonymous, I hated women. And I really didn't like men. However, I know one of those nice people are going to bring me some water pretty soon because my tongue is stuck to the top of my mouth and I can't talk. So, anyhow, I went to Narcotics Anonymous. I sat down the back. I identified as a visitor. I was not an addict, and I was never going to be. And thank you very much. And I stayed in that position as a visitor for quite some time. Until the man in that group shares his experience, strength, and hope, and then I'm in the fetal position, not crying, because I identify with what this man said. Not only did I identify with this man, but this man grew up in the same street that I grew up in. We were friends. Listen to the message of what happens to me when I go on a divine assignment for the God of my understanding. That man's name was Ray. The home group that I belong to today is called A Ray of Hope. The word that I heard when I first came into Narcotics Anonymous was hope. What I still have today standing in front of you is hope. What I love to share with you is hope. What I love to get back is hope. Because let me tell you, in the end stages of my disease, I was hopeless. I didn't want to do anything except die. Every day I woke up going, what are you thinking, God? I need to be off the face of this earth. There's no purpose for my life. So I'll share a little bit about what I did in that home group. I sat down the back. I became Judge Judy. I judged everybody in front of me, everybody. And then I saw this woman, and she's like Sharon, and she's like, I'm going through an issue. And I thought, I'm never getting an issue. I'm never getting an issue. I wouldn't let those people see me like that. I was so hard. I mean, my inner self, my inner being felt just like this piece of wood right here. I had nothing for anybody, or I had nothing for myself. How could I possibly give to you? And then they said, you ought to come to our business meeting. And I said, okay, I'll be at the business meeting. And then that's when they started using all those three-letter word things, those three-letter alphabet letters there. About, and then somebody said, you'd make a good GSR. And I go, what's a GSR? And they said, don't worry about it. You're going to show up. We're going to tell you what you have to take there. And we'll basically tell you what we're looking for, and you're going to help this group. And I said, ooh, a title. That'll be nice, a title. And so, I have to tell you also, when they elected me as the GSR of that home group, I didn't have a sponsor. Sponsors were for people who just didn't know how to take care of their life. Sponsors were people who wanted to know your everything. They wanted you to share your deepest secrets. Yeah, not me. So I'm in this home group one night, and this woman comes over and she taps me on the shoulder and she says, would you mind stepping in the hall for a minute? And I looked and I go, she wants me. And she said, Kathleen, I've been watching you for the last month. Your sister is dying of cancer. You're dying inside from the disease of addiction. If you don't get honest, pretty soon you're going to use, and if you don't use, you're going to die. This is Narcotics Anonymous. We want to know your secret. And believe it or not, in 24 years, I have never heard one thing that I have ever shared with one single sponsor put out there. I have never, ever heard it. Never. Never. My sponsor, my first sponsor was Judy, and that was the girl who took me out, the woman that took me out into the hallway. But let me tell you how I got her. She said to me, and by the way, after this meeting, I'm going to another meeting. Would you like to come to that meeting? I go, no. She goes, why not? I go, because one's enough. No, she said, really? She said, this will be my third. And I said, why? Don't you have a life? And she said, well, it's an invitation if you want to go. So I thought, maybe this woman, maybe she does like me, but maybe she doesn't like me like that. And I thought, I don't know if I want a friend. So we go to the next meeting, and I get out of the car, and I'm walking with her, and she's very tall, long-legged, very well-built woman, and I'm short, fat, round, and I can't keep up with her. I mean, I'm huffing and puffing, thinking, Jesus Christ, they got a workout program here in Narcotics Anonymous. So I said, Judy, I said, I need a sponsor. She goes, oh, do you ever? Oh. Yeah, she said, it really would be a good idea. And I said to myself, well, it's not going to be her because she's so stupid. She doesn't know I just asked her to be my sponsor. Okay? Because that's how I communicated in my world. If I put a sentence out there, you were supposed to totally understand it, and you'd be right there to do things for me. After the meeting, when we were walking back to the car, I said, Judy, I'm so desperate right now. I really feel I feel like I could benefit if I had a sponsor. Oh, she said, you could. You could. And then I thought, dumber than I thought she was. And so she turned to me to hug me as we went to our separate cars, and she said, that was cars, Noah. And she said, it was really a joy being with you. And I said, she wants me. And I looked right at this woman, right in her eyes, and I said, would you sponsor me? And she looked in mine and said, it would be an honor. An honor. One of many spiritual awakenings. So most of the years that I'm clean, I did in Massachusetts, and so I'm walking across I'm one of 12, and my family's pretty proud of me. I married a man that was 15 and a half years younger than I am. Nice Irish Catholic girl. Go Kathleen, right on. My brother was a school teacher in the town. He said, don't come to my house. Don't even use your maiden name, never, okay? And God has such a sense of humor that my brother one day stood in front of my husband and said to him, you will never be my brother-in-law, ever. He said, I don't care. Your sister's my wife, and that's all that matters to me. I don't care if I'm never your brother-in-law. And my brother said to him, stand up, please. And my husband was a very big man. And he put his arms around my husband, and he said to him, because you, from this moment on, are my brother. I love you. I appreciate everything that you've done for my sister and her children. I've just been on so many missions in my life that there is no way. First of all, I'm very blessed that I never had a punishing God. He didn't need to do that to me. Trust me, I did a great job of myself. He said, go ahead, Kathleen, keep going. One of these days you'll realize that you're not on the path that I want you on, but keep going, go ahead, keep going. And my husband was my best friend. I heard somebody share that last night. My husband was my world, my everything, my everybody. So at this point right now, my husband is communicating with me, and he wants me to ask you people to help me. And at this moment right now, for some reason, it's time to call into this room the spirits, the souls, the wonderful people of my life who are no longer here, yet they walk with me. So I will start off with this person called Lovey, and that was my husband. And I would like to call my brother Michael, and I would like to call my brother Jack, and I would like to call my brother Skip, and I would like to call my mom, and I would like to call my dad, and I would like to call my sister Grace. And at this moment, if anybody out there has anybody that they would like in the energy of this room, I would like you to bring them in also. I'd like to call on the spirit of Hamilton, who was a man who had many years in this program, who died recently. I would like to call on the spirit of Sonia from South Shore area, who, when I got here, I was told that Sonia was found dead as a direct result of the disease of addiction. This disease doesn't play fun. It doesn't play fun. It speaks to me in my own voice, and sometimes I honestly think that that's what it is. I'm going to give you all a moment. If there's anybody you'd like to bring here, please bring them out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. Yes, Lord. Very deep. Edgar. Sissy. Father.
In the last few years of my life, I have learned to meditate. And there's nothing that I like more in my life. I say this because I mean this. I am not afraid of the dead. I'm scared shit of the living. I am not afraid of them at all. I know that my husband walks with me in every step of the manner. So I'm back in Massachusetts, and I walk across the floor, and I hear Arizona. Arizona. And I say to myself, your father was right, you're nuts. You're crazy. Because when that happened to me when I was 9 years old and my mother embraced me, it made an incredible impact in my life. Because as she embraced me, my father was standing on the other side going, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo, get rid of her, put her away, gotta go. I'm so grateful today that I believe what I believe, and that I can believe what I can believe, and that I can have the God of my understanding, because Narcotics Anonymous told me that it was perfectly okay that I could do that. I have been many times in my recovery, I have been tremendously judged for the work that I do and the woman that I am. And I look directly at the person and I go, well, if I'm going to go to hell for that, you're going too, because you're judging me. Okay? So I hear these words, Arizona. So I say to my husband, do you want to go to Arizona? No, he said. No. I have a trach in my throat, upper respiratory. I'm an asthmatic. You're trying to kill me? No. No. And I said, well, I'll try this again tomorrow. In a different manner. Right, ladies? I'll try it in a different way. And as I went to bed that night, I remembered that it was important to give stuff to God. So I gave it to God. And the phone call came the next morning, and they said, may I speak with Moose? And I said, sure. I said, one of your union brothers. And I heard the man say, you have got to get out here as fast as you can. There's so much work in Arizona, you'll never be unemployed. And I heard my husband say, I'll ask my wife and call you later. And he get off the phone, and I'm standing in front of him like, I didn't look like anything except like this. I told you so. I told you. And he looked at me and goes, we're going to Arizona. So we get to Arizona, and my husband, who doesn't want to be in Arizona, it's 5 weeks later, he doesn't have a job. We're really not wealthy. We're running 2 houses. I can't keep up with it. And I said, we have to go home. And he said, I'm never going home. I am home, and I'm never leaving the state. And I said, and I'm not going home, wrap up another house by myself. So I said, and I have only flown a couple of times. I said, and I'm not getting on that plane by myself. I'm not. I'm petrified. And he said, never alone, never again. The night that I got the phone call from this committee to ask me to come here to share, I had left the home group meeting in Maricopa, Arizona, which is beautiful. Yeah, and I went home, and I sat in the chair, and I looked right at my husband's picture. I said, it's been a nice journey. It's been a great ride, but I'm done. I am finished. I've done all that I can do. I can't make these people shut up. I can't make them sit down and do what I'm trying to tell them to do. I can't sit in a meeting when you're using all the language from the other fellowship, and you're telling the 3 newcomers that are in the room, we all belong to this church. I go, excuse me. This is a spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous. I am such, I'm such a Narcotics Anonymous person that they really wish I'd go away sometimes. And I do for a little bit to give them and me a rest. But I had made the decision that night that I was not going to go anymore. I just felt as though everything that I could have given and everything that I could have got was enough. And the phone rang, and this man said, my name is, I'm Abdul, and I'm calling from the convention committee in, I'm not going to try to say that word because I know it's simple, but I can't say it. ISNAC? Okay, ISNAC. And we would like to know if you'd like to come and be our morning speaker on Sunday. I looked right at my husband's picture and I said, the bitch, you got it again. Haven't you got me there again, didn't you? Because I had been asked previous to speak in Orlando, and that was called The Journey Continues. And then I have this new sponsor who decides that she wants to remove me from the STEP working guide right now, and she wants me to work in our new book. And I look at those the thing that says growing pains, and it says willingness without action equals fantasy. And at 24 years clean, I have lived in an awful lot of fantasy, okay? I still think that I am the most important person in the room. At any given time, I think that. If you start texting and I'm looking at you, I know that you're texting about my obesity, or I talk too loud. I am so self-centered, it isn't even funny. You think this, listen, this is just for myself, and I have to say this because I have been a predecessor in this program where I have sat in the fetal position, and I didn't want you to know what I had done clean, and I didn't want you to know what I had done in recovery. I didn't want you to know what I had done talking about a loving, caring God and giving him the finger and doing whatever I felt like doing whenever I felt like doing it. And I am not confused. This is a spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous, and our literature never has lied, ever. And somebody sat years before I ever arrived in Narcotics Anonymous and put this together so that I could have the life that I have today. Greater than any, listen, I'm a poor, pitiful, 7 of 12, well-fared, addicted mother. Okay? Thinking because I had a business, and I had a business that I wouldn't report because I was lying to, I believe today in my 24th year, I believe that this disease is all about what I can get away with. What can you get away with today, Kathleen? Listen, I don't steal, but honest to God, if I like the pen that the person's using in the bank, it goes home with me. And by the way, I had this message when I woke up this morning, and the God of my understanding told me to tell you people that if there's anything in your suitcase that wasn't in it when you came here, put it back. Put it back, okay? Put it back. It doesn't belong to you. It does not belong to you. I remember the first convention we came to, I'm loading the suitcase up. My husband's like, what the hell are you doing? I said, we need this. And by the way, they charge too much money for dinner. How you like that one? I'm telling you, I got all the excuses. So we arrive in Arizona. We finally find a place to call home. It's the first time ever in the marriage that we have been together alone. And my husband looks at me and he said, now we've been here for 3 days, and if I had any idea that I was going to be married to you, I would have dragged you across the country. I would have pulled you out of that burning fire and brought you to Arizona. What a dream. What an incredible dream that we had. Less than 3 weeks ago, I went to Maine. My brother died, and I had acupuncture one day, and I'm driving down the road to go home, and the phone rang, and I saw it was a Maine number, and I knew that it was my brother, and I answered the phone, and my brother goes, oh my God, I'm so glad you answered the phone. I need to talk to you so bad. He goes, I'm so excited, and I don't know who to tell in this family about this excitement except you, because I'm so excited about it, and I think you're going to get it. I sure hope you're going to get it. He goes, I'm going to die. I'm so excited. I'm going to die. Sure. Thanks for calling me. And I pulled over and I said, awesome, Jack. He goes, no, you don't understand. Anything and everything that I've ever been through in my life is nowhere like anything that I'm going to see. I am going home. I am going home. My brother sent me 3 years ago to a place where they asked me 7 questions. He knew I wasn't going to pass the 7th question. He knew it. And they said to me in the 7th question, and this is why we're a spiritual, not religious program, have you ever dealt in the occult? I go, I'm not sure I know what that means. Well, did you ever fool around with like the Ouija board or like the tarot cards or any of that? And go, yes, I have. In fact, I still do that. Oh my God, these people started pulling at their hair. They started sweating. Their heart was pounding out. They said, we'll be back in a few minutes. And they went outside. They prayed about it. And they came in and they said, we can't save you. I go, really? No. Are you willing to stop? I said, the God of my understanding sent me to this job, and I have helped many, and I'm going to continue to help whoever I can. We're going to show you the way to the door. I said, that's good because I suck at directions, so you can show me out. And when I went to get out, when I went and I left the building, I said, I have one last thing to tell you. I'll see you in hell because you made a decision to judge me. Let me tell you something right now. You know what matters to me? What he thinks about me. What he thinks about me matters to me. That individual, that entity, that life, that God, that absolutely incredible love that I have never felt anywhere from anybody else. And when I'm there, trust me, when I'm there, I'm there. When I lived in Massachusetts, I had a big old apple tree in the backyard, and I had this vision. I had a vision that in that backyard was this beautiful swing, and there sat the God of my understanding. And every time my heart ached, I would go to that place, and he would call me, and he would wrap me in his beautiful blanket, and I would stay safe, thus not having to use and losing the desire to use over and over and over again because of the things that I have had that have been put in my path that I have walked through in my life, okay? Because of the God of my understanding, I'm able to stand here today. My brother went home. I was so excited because I was the only one who knew the secret until the priest started telling the same story. And I got a resentment at my brother. I have lost the bodies, this human body of many people that I love. So anyhow, my husband's here. He's on a union job. He's doing really, really good. Comes home one day, and there's 2 guys bringing this man. Bringing him, carrying him up the stairs. I'm like, what the hell? He must have had an accident at work. And he said, I can't walk. He said, my legs are like jello. I just don't know what's the matter with me. So we went to the doctors, and they said that he had muscular dystrophy. And I said, that's really not a good diagnosis, and I didn't think that's what we came to Arizona for, but you know what? We're in Narcotics Anonymous, and we can get through anything because we're in Narcotics Anonymous, because we're in the center, because we stay in the center, because we are of service, because we listen, because we take directions from a sponsor, okay? The person who I asked to sponsor me, I asked them because I know that they are a direct gift from the God of my understanding, and that I have been assigned to that person because we have something for each other. That's a little less self-incented, and I like that. So anyhow, my husband goes to his kidney. So he says to me, I have an appointment with the kidney doctor. He said, I'm going to ride the bike. And I said, you sure? I said, I can go with you. I always go with you. And he goes, no. He says, it's a routine checkup. Don't worry about anything. I said, okay. So he comes in the house and he stands there and he looks at me. He looks at me with, when you've been in Narcotics Anonymous long enough, you know the look of something. And I go, what's wrong? And he said, I'm going on dialysis. I go, for how long? He said, for the rest of my life. Now, my husband and I had just planned this wonderful plan. I was going to go to school for reflexology, and he was going to go take a cooking class. And the God of our understanding had a different plan altogether. I went to school to be a dialysis tech. My husband went on dialysis. I took him to the hospital, and one night, and 3 days later, his dad had flown across the country to come for a visit, and my sister that's here today was with me when my husband was in the hospital a lot of times. And so on this particular day, the phone rings at 6 o'clock in the morning. He goes, "Lovey, bring my shoes." I call him back. I go, "No, I'm not going to bring your shoes because your feet are really bothering you, and I'm not going to bring your shoes. I'm just, bring my shoes. We're going to P.F. Chang's for lunch." Okay. So I go to the hospital with my pocketbook and look pretty and all this stuff, and the room is empty. And along comes the guy, and he goes, "All ready for the other one. It's all ready for the next one." He's got the plastic blue bed there and stuff, you know. I need to tell you something. There was nothing spiritual about me in that moment. I go, "Where's my husband?" "Sir, where's my husband?" "Oh, he said a doctor will come talk to you." I go, "You're going to need security in about 3 seconds. Where is he?" And the nurse comes walking in the room. She said, "The doctor will speak to you." I said, "Get me to the doctor right now." You can plan plans, but you can't plan outcomes, okay? You just can't. You can't. His father called me at 9 o'clock that night, and he said, "You got the big guy home?" I go, "Your son's not coming home, he's going home." He goes, what does that mean?" I said, "Probably within the hour he's going to die." God never leaves me empty. He never leaves me empty. I had the ability to speak with my husband. I had the ability to remove his wedding band. I had the ability to talk to him while he could still hear me, while he was still alive. God gave me the gift to put the phone to his ear so that he could speak to both of our children. God gave me the ability to tell my husband that it was okay to go, that his grandfather was there, that he would walk him to the other side. All of a sudden I heard, and I look at the machine, and there's a great big red 9. That's the day we were married. Because God loved me so much, he didn't want to leave me on that empty space. Once that happened, I went on a mission of I have no idea where I was, what I did, who I had become. I did not answer phones. I had people coming to my house constantly. "I wanted you to go away, leave me alone. Don't you know I can't handle this pain? I need to die with him," blah, blah, blah. I mean, I substituted in stuff that I said, what is wrong with you people that you have to do that? It's an honest program. I had a lot of arguments with my husband in regards to pornography, and that I felt that was a cheating in the marriage. And he's like, "You're sick." So I couldn't deny that. But I have to tell you something. I became addicted to that screen. I couldn't get off it. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could do that. Wow. Oh my God, this is disgusting and so much fun. This is probably not the CD I'm going to give his grandmother. No matter what, I did not use. I had a memorial in Maricopa. I flew to Massachusetts. I flew from Massachusetts. I stayed for the holidays. My 3-year-old granddaughter came in my bedroom Christmas morning and said, get up, you gotta get up. I said, I know, honey, Santa Claus has come. She goes, no! Papa's in my room right now. My son's standing behind her going, hoo-hoo, she's cuckoo, she's cuckoo. She said, come on! And I got out of the bed, and the child at the bottom of the stairs looked at me, and she said, Nan, I'm so sorry. She goes, he's gone up to the North Pole with my elf Nomi. He'll be back next Christmas. Okay, honey, no problem. I flew back to Maricopa. I got on that plane again one more time by myself. I have had so many messages and so many lessons since I got here from my grandchildren, it isn't even funny. One day I had to put my granddaughter through the window because my keys were on the table, and I sure as hell couldn't get through the window. So I'm trying to put my granddaughter through the window, and she's like, no, I'm scared. I'm like, get it, in my spiritual voice, get through the window. and get the keys. And her feet touched the floor, and she said, I'm a big brave dog. I'm a big brave dog. I'm a big brave dog. I never board the airplane without using those words when I'm boarding all by myself. I'm a big brave dog, and it's helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot. I was in a meeting, a step meeting. I didn't do well in school. I was called out because I couldn't understand what I read. I couldn't pronounce the words and everything, and it was very humiliating because people would laugh at you and point at you and all of this stuff. And so I was at a step meeting in Narcotics Anonymous, and they went around the room, and they all would read a paragraph, and I was petrified. I was scared to death. And I couldn't pronounce the words, and they would sweetly, you would hear somebody say that word for you, and nobody laughed. I love Narcotics Anonymous. I absolutely love it. So I'm in this step meeting. My mind seems to wander, and I want to text, but I don't. Because it really puts it. Think I got a problem with texting? I've got a problem with texting, okay? And I can't say anything to anybody because I don't come nice when I come. So when I learn to come nice, I'll say something. So I just kept writing this word. One day the door opened up, and I'm the 7th of 12, and my brother Michael walked through the door of Narcotics Anonymous, and I almost fainted dead. And he had like 9 months clean, but he hadn't told anybody in the family. And I saw him walk in, and I went, oh my God, when your friend comes to Narcotics Anonymous, it's one thing, but when your brother comes, that's really powerful, right? And so there's my brother Michael, and he's working his steps, and he's done a 3rd step with his sponsor, and he's gone to a meeting, and he's doing really, really well. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call that said, come immediately, your brother's dead in bed. Please don't leave this convention if you have a secret. Dump it. Get rid of it. Get it out. It's going to kill you. And when it kills you and I care about you, it's gonna kill me. It's painful. I would far rather you get it out. Say what it is. Expose it to the light. It says so in our literature. Only there will it die a natural death. So anyhow, I'm sitting there, and my brother used to say to me all the time, just dance, Kathleen, just dance. So I'm looking at these letters and the word dance, and I go, David, Ariana, Nathaniel, Courtney, our sister Emma, Len, and my new little grandboy, Jonathan. Just dance. If you stay close to the God of your understanding, if you just keep it very simple, you will receive messages way beyond anything you could ever imagine in your whole entire life. When my oldest boy was the ripe old age of 16, he always told me that he was going to be 16, ride a bicycle, have a girlfriend, and get a baby. And he thought he might get a job, too. He wasn't sure. So he said, Mom, what time's Pop coming home? Connie's parents want to come by. And I'm thinking, we've known her for 2 weeks. Why would they want to come by? We all know why they wanted to come by, because Connie was pregnant. And we sat with them, and because of Narcotics Anonymous, we said, what do you want to do? What do you feel you want to do? In your heart of hearts, take your time and think about what you want to do. We want to have this baby. As my husband went through his dialysis, I got a phone call one day from that child, who's now 21. I got a phone call from his father. And David said, what are you doing, Mom? I said, I'm doing one of the hardest things I'm ever going to do my whole entire life. I'm bringing the dialysis machine in so I can give Pop dialysis. He goes, listen, that's easy. That's easy. That's so simple, Ma. You know what I'm doing? I'm holding my hands together so I won't let them go because I'm going to kill my kid. I go, what's the matter with him? He said, this girl's pregnant. I go, well, why don't you just close your eyes? Visualize yourself. You're 16. You come home from school and you say, Connie's parents are coming over. And now, what did we do, David? He said, you loved us through it, Mom. I go, there you go. That's exactly what I want you to do. 3 days later, I got another phone call from my kid. He's totally out of his mind. I'm like, what's the matter? Oh, God, he said, the news is worse. It's worse. And I think the baby's dead. That's what I think. I think the baby died. He goes, they're having twins. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. My oldest son has been an upstanding person. He's a great father. He takes care of his child support. He takes care of his children. He has built his own home. He's incredible, okay? They do things like I used to do when I was young like that, and they have their friends over on a Saturday night, and they have a few drinks, and they have some whatever, and they laugh a lot, and after a while they talk too loud. So he taps on the door, and he goes, Mom, do you want me to take this party next door? I said, if you do, I will never come to your home again. You have never admitted ever once that you have a problem with this, and what you do with your life is none of my business. And he said to me, what'd you say? I said, what you do is really none of my business. Unless I think it's going to cause you or somebody harm, it really isn't. I couldn't believe the day the sponsor told me stuff ain't my business. If I knew that a long time ago, I wouldn't be so tired today. I wouldn't be so tired. So anyhow, my brother Michael leaves the face of the earth, and I'm in Arizona for 3 years, and I get a beautiful phone call, 30 messages that I'm going to see you next, whatever, and fat, and when I get back there, they're going to slit my throat. I'm still not really comfortable with my brother's death, to be honest with you. And I always say this to my sponsors, do you believe or do you believe? There's a big difference. I believe. Do you believe? In there, do you really believe? Phone rings at my house the other day, and after my husband had passed away, we had friends, Wendy and, I forget his name, that's how important it was at the time, I guess, Scott. He walked into his home and found his fiancée dead. And 2 months later, my husband died, and we hung out together. And because of Narcotics Anonymous, I knew that I didn't have to sleep with him, and he didn't have to sleep with me. I didn't say I didn't want to. God! So I got a message on my phone last week, and Scott said, I need you to call me as soon as you possibly can. He said, I need you. And he broke down and he said, my son blew his brains out last night. And the walk that my higher power has me on in this, I decided one day, no, I didn't, what a liar. I love to take the credit for shit other people do. My acupuncturist said to me, Kathleen, when you go back east to bury your brother, go on a divine assignment. Pretend that it's a divine assignment, that you've been given this assignment and you should go back for that. The other night I quit the design. I said, I quit. I looked right at my sister and I said to her, listen, I quit the divine assignment. It's too hard. I can't do it. Because I felt that my husband died after Scott's girl, and his son blew his brains out. I have a younger son who's been in Narcotics Anonymous, in and out, who within the last 3 months has tried to commit suicide 9 times. Damn near successful every single solitary time. I come to the convention, and it says, Peter, Boston. I said, Peter? Does he have a last initial M? Yes. All of a sudden, sitting in Starbucks, in walks Peter from Boston. And I go, Peter? He goes, Kate, where's Moose? He's dead. Life changes. Life changes. And it's going to change for every single person in this room. And my suggestion is, by the way, my suggestion is, get a God, hold on to him, dance with him, don't ever let him go, because I'm telling you, yesterday, trying really hard to let the God of my understanding take care of his son, Daniel, trying to step out of the control, realizing that I was crippled in enabling. Probably none of you even have done that, but I was crippled in enabling, okay? I got a text that said my son was homeless. And I was in a meeting, and this man named Peter leaned down, and he said to me, do you have a son? I said, I do. Named Daniel? I do. I'll get him on Monday. He can come in one of my houses, and I'll help him to get clean. and I'll help him to realize that this is the best place that you will ever spend the rest of your life. The best place. I don't care what I've ever done in Narcotics Anonymous. I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what I've ever done here in Narcotics Anonymous. I've never been asked to leave, and I have never received a bill that I owed thousands of dollars to. I got to tell you something. I wish somebody would get a hold of that. Here's some letters. IRS. If I don't have to pay for every single solitary gift that I get here, why do I give my money to them? I don't get it anymore. I have a resentment, to say the least. And it's at my husband because he didn't file because he guessed he knew he was going to go somewhere and he wasn't going to worry about it. So anyhow, this morning in our room, Joyce woke earlier than I did and woke me up because I don't have a resentment about this right now, but I'm just going to share about it because I have a resentment. She woke me up because she put the damn light on because she's addicted to Candy Crush. And, yeah, so are a lot of other people in here, I'm sure, yeah. And she said, I had a message from your husband, and it said, hi, Lovey, I'm here. I will be always. Do your thing. It's just me. I believe in miracles because I'm looking at them. I believe in miracles because of you. I am one. I believe in miracles because the girl that sat at my table last night was the girl who had one day clean. I believe in miracles because people keep coming back into Narcotics Anonymous and telling us that it's no better out there. I believe in the steps, the traditions, and the concepts of this program. I believe that if I'm in a meeting with you and you talk about your religion, I'm going to tell you there's 3 newcomers in it, breaks the tradition, shut up. Because I came from the school where you went to Narcotics Anonymous, and I'm telling you straight up, you didn't bring anything that you weren't supposed to bring, and whatever they were reading off that chairperson's thing, they had your undivided. Listen, I didn't get up to go to the bathroom when I first went to Narcotics Anonymous because I was so afraid somebody was going to say to me, I didn't know if I needed a pass or not to go to the bathroom. And because of the predecessors, because of the people who have come before me, because of the people who have gone through all that they've gone through, I have the life that I have today. So I respect Narcotics Anonymous. I'm not too crazy about the disease, but I have respect for it. I didn't even think it was a disease because when I first started identifying as an addict, my sister was laying in a bed dying from cancer, and I'm thinking, I don't have a disease, she does, and it's going to kill her. I don't have a disease, she does. And so God brought me this message one morning. He said, Kathleen, you suffer from the dis-ease of this addiction. And our addiction manifests in more ways than I can ever imagine in my life. I've been all weekend long staying away from the Tootsie Rolls that Joyce brought. Last night she said, you want a Tootsie Roll? And I thought, I can have a Tootsie Roll. I can have a little Tootsie Roll. I can have just one little Tootsie Roll. Ain't gonna hurt me. So I grabbed a whole handful because Attic Girl said, get the other hand in the basket before she leaves. You need more than one. If I had taken the one Tootsie Roll, the filling that is no longer in my mouth might still be there. But what can I tell you? The addiction does not, it gets, for me, this whole entire journey, it gets, to me, this is what I've learned in Narcotics Anonymous. But this journey is a circle. And I start, once I come to Narcotics Anonymous, once I admit that I'm an addict, because I didn't do that, I was a visitor. Once I admit that, and I come to the top of the circle, my life comes this way. You know, you begin to feel here. You begin to unfold yourself from the fetal position. You begin to peel off the layers that you needed for protection, that you really and truly thought you needed. I came in here real loud, real hard, real fast. Shut up. I know everything. And one day my higher power said, duct tape your mouth. I'm on a journey. I used to be on a mission. Today I'm on a journey. And that wheel in my life recently has gone right down to the bottom where I just sit there and I just sob my heart out. My son is brilliant. My son is a good man. I got a phone call the other night from his son. At one point, my children thought it was the best thing in their life to take all of the grandchildren away from us for 6 years. When my husband died, I held my granddaughter in my arms, and she said, Nana, why did you and Papa leave us? We're human beings doing very human things, and sometimes they're not nice. And the other night, I got to have a phone call for an hour with my son Daniel's son, and he said, Nana, I'm worried about my dad. I really think he's going to die. I need you to help me. I'm broken. I'm broken. I myself am broken. I can't help anymore. I love my son with every fiber of my being as a mother. However, I believe fully that that is not the job anymore that God wants. God wants me to let go. Because let me tell you, every single solitary time I hold on and sign up to be dragged, it sucks and I end up in the fetal position, okay? So what I want to say is, I'm thirsty and I don't know what I want to say. What I want to say is that I went to Jack's funeral on the divine assignment from God. So the first sibling I met said, my God, you look wonderful. How much weight have you lost? I said, 32 pounds. I haven't lost an ounce. I have not lost, believe me, I have not lost. Oh, you just look so wonderful. And then my brother came over and he said, God, it's good to see you. You look great. I said, thank you. He said, you walking? I said, every day. Not out of my house, not from my bedroom any further than my bedroom to the kitchen, but I'm walking. Why? I wonder why I still feel like I have to lie first. Oh, you identify? Oh, I am home. I'm home. So my brother's friend looked at me, he goes, yeah, he goes, Arizona must be really working for you. You look great. What are you doing? I said, I'm on a divine assignment from God. He looked at me and goes, I want whatever you're eating. You're having pills, you're taking pills or doing dope, you got something good? Because I really like to do that, you know. I go, no, I'm on a divine assignment from God. He said, what does that mean? I said, it means when my sister-in-law or somebody in my family, like my sweet niece, comes close to me and the energy isn't good, I turn my radio station to the divine assignment for God. Because what I really want to do is grab a hold of her head, slam her face up against a wall, kick her, and put her out in the snow. And my brother looked at his friend and said, that's my sister. Don't ask if you don't want to know. That is my sister. Who's my timer? I'm done? My time is over here going like this. I am not lucky. If I hit a scratch ticket or I stay out of a casino, I'm lucky. Substitution. You know, when you don't want to go down there and you don't want to feel that stuff. You know that when it's yours, it's only you can do it. Huh? Well, my sister was in my house one night and she saw me like nobody's ever seen me in their life ever. She didn't know whether she should pack her shit and go home or crawl in the bed with me. And for some reason, she heard a message from the divine and she crawled in the bed with me, held me, and I cried and I cried and I cried. I hurt in here. My husband's gone 4 years. Once I got to Maricopa, I got a message from my son that my daughter-in-law had a brain tumor, just had a blood clot, and just had a baby, and that he didn't know what he was going to do. And I said, I'll fly back out. And he said, no, you don't live that close, Mom. It's not going to be easy for you. You just lost your husband. I said, I'm on a plane. And I had no fear of doing that because I knew when I got off that plane, there was a Narcotics Anonymous meeting waiting for me over there. Okay? My family says to me, you still go to those meetings? My sister said, don't you think you could take a drink? I said, what did I do when I did that, Terry? She said, I don't know. I go, I beat the hell out of you with a paper towel holder. Oh, yeah, she said, I hope you won't drink again. I hope you won't do that, Kathleen. You know, this program has taught me more things than I could ever imagine in my life. The one thing that I can say to you, and this is a miracle for me, I can look in the mirror. And most times I can say, I love you. I love you, Kathleen. I do not understand at all, seriously, that I have impacted your life in any way. I don't get that. When I come up here to speak, I say to God, I just want to be able to give a message to one person in this room so that they will know that they never are alone, never again, and that they never have to use ever again in their life. And one way or the other, you're still going to go through the same circle. And my strong suggestion is to go through it clean. Now, my father would say she's cuckoo. But right now, I have heard a message. I was blessed to be the wife of this man. I was blessed that God sent me here with a voice. I was blessed that one of the most comforts that brought my husband in the last times of his life was we would lay down in the afternoon and I would sing him to sleep. My sister told me she heard me singing last night. I don't remember. I love to sing, but I love to sing alone home by myself. I don't want you to look at me. So right now I'm saying I'm going to turn around while I finish this. I'm going to sing a little few words. But I'm not, because I'm a big, brave dog. I'm not going to turn around. In 1 second I'm going to sing, but I have to share this story because it's the funniest thing that's happened to me lately. Hi, Nan. Nan, it's Emerson. I'm calling you here from way far across the country. I think you should get in your car and drive here. Dad says you can't drive. I know you can drive. You drove me when you were here. So get in the car and come over here, and then Dad'll build you a house, and then you can stay here. Because I need to give you a manicure and a pedicure. I need to give manicure and pedicure. And I'm going to try to give you a massage. She's 3. I'm trying to give you a massage. But Nan, you're sick. You're sick. You're sick, Nan. I don't know if I can give you a massage because you're sick. I go, honey, I'm not sick. No, Nan. No, she said, you're sick. Your body's very, very sick. I love children and old people. The ones in between I like. So one more moment in my life, I will invite Lovey to come here and be with me and be strong. And I'll take those words of my granddaughter, I'm a big, brave dog. I think I'll take the gum out of my mouth, too. When people threw sticks and stones, they said I don't belong. You loved me as I am with all my weakness, as I am with all my faults. You came running like my champion, just to love me as I am. Thank you, God. Thank you, Narcotics Anonymous.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please help us improve our ranking so others can find us by putting a review on Stitcher, iTunes, or your favorite podcast index. Nawpod is ad-free thanks to the folks supporting the show with $1 more per month. If you enjoy listening, you can join them by going to nawpod.xyz and looking for the donate link. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.